All right, thank you very much. We are about to start. Just a formal apology from us. The invitation says we're supposed to be starting at 2:30. So a humble apology. I know the teachers were very concerned about time. We would like to apologize for that. Just to confirm, because we're expecting 4 schools, I see we have in the house Unique High. So this is Unique High. Yes, thank you very much. And then this is McCarthy. Yes. All right, thank you. Sorry. Oh, not McCarthy. All right. Okay, I think that's the only delay. So we are still expecting Imoli Blackburn as well as Itinaha High, and we are told that they are on their way. They are local, so just bear with us now. However, we will start. I think we will start the program. Mine was just to make sure that there's an order in the house. Everyone who is supposed to be in the house is here. I would also request the Love Life personnel or the staff to assist us in terms of mobilizing the people. Not necessarily to mobilize, but to make sure that whoever's supposed to be here is here, and then we will close the door and resume or commence with the program. Without wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to hand over, because I know I can look quite scary. You know, this is a youth program, and then all of a sudden this old man with beard and eye, I know I could be quite scary. So I'll hand over to Usigelela, my colleague also from university, who will be the facilitator for this session. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Yeah, I think we'll just start now. Okay. Starting with introduction and the house rules, etc.
All right, no problem. Afternoon, guys. How are you? I'm good. You guys don't look happy. What's up? Are you tired from school? No, but show a little bit of enthusiasm. You guys look so tired. You're like, oh my gosh, like, you know. Afternoon, guys. It's a pleasure to have you with us today, and we're just hoping for a fruitful session. We're hoping to peek into your minds, and, you know, as we start getting to talk about issues and stuff, you know, because I believe that we're the future of this country as we welcome more people. My role, as my colleague has said over there, is to be the facilitator of this program. My name is Sikelela Matandela. I'm a third-year accounting student at the NMU. It's quite tough. Right now, if we can just discuss the overview of the program today. The opening and welcome was done by my colleague, Mr. Stierman. We will have an overview, which will be conducted by Ms. Nancy Msibi from KAS. And then we are told we're going to have a lovely poem from someone. So a little bit of variety there. And then I will just give you a little bit of an introduction on the topic that's at hand. And then we will break away into groups. We're just going to decide on how many people, depending on the other people. We're hoping that the other people will come there as well, and we'll mix and match, you know, from McCarthy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And, you know, from the different schools. So, you know, we just get to know each other a little bit more. And then we'll just, you know, after that, we'll come back together here again, and then we'll have a look at all the things that people have raised, and then we'll just try and bring everything together and, you know, get to hear people's perspective on that. And then we will be done with the evening, and then, yeah, you guys can go rest, do homework, I don't know. Right now, I'd like to welcome Ms. Nancy Msibi to just give us an overview of the program at hand. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, I'm not doing a welcome. I'm just doing. I'm not doing an overview. I'm doing welcome on behalf of the Konrad-Adenauer Foundation. Okay, so I suppose none of you have heard of the Konrad-Adenauer Foundation before. So I'll just give you a background. We are based. Our office is based in Johannesburg, but our head office is in Germany. So the main aim of the foundation is the promotion of democracy, good governance, and the rule of law. Now you may wonder, why do we partner in such a discussion? So our aim really is to make sure that we have young people who are responsible and active citizens in our democracy. Because without an active citizenry, unfortunately, our democracy will fail. Remember that so many people died so that we can be free today. Now, what it means for you as young people, I assume that none of you have already participated in elections. How many of you are going to vote in 2019? How many of you will be 18 in 2019? Can I see by show? Okay. Now remember that you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility, if you are of voting age, to vote. Never throw your vote away. So participating in elections is just one way of being an active citizen. There are many other ways that you can show that you are a responsible citizen of a free country by speaking up when you see wrong things. For instance, let's look at the recent cabinet reshuffle. How many of you are aware that we just had a cabinet reshuffle? How many? Okay. Do you think it was right to have another reshuffle, not so soon after the other one we had earlier this year? Is that ethical leadership from our president? Yes. So now, you guys, young as you are, you must know that you have a responsibility to speak against such things, but also to educate other people at home, your friends. Like now you see here, we are so few. But imagine if every one of you, when you live here, you go out, you tell somebody else who wasn't in this room. You'll be acting as a multiplicator. In that way, you show that you're an active citizen, you're informing other people. Because what's happening in our country now is not acceptable. There are so many young people, graduates, who are unemployed. It's not only the role of government to make sure that we have economic opportunities. The private sector must also come to the party. But government needs to create an enabling environment for business to thrive. So young as you are our future. You are the future leaders of our country. I'm already old. I'm just, one foot is already almost in the grave. You guys are the future. And now, if you sit and just play, your games, and you're busy with your WhatsApp, you listen to music, but you don't stand up when you see bad things happening in your country, then what are you going to have in the future? Like I told you, so many people died so that we can be free. So please don't be ignorant. We are funding this discussion. We've already had 2 other similar discussions here in the Eastern Cape with CANRAD. But then we cannot go to every corner of South Africa to encourage active citizenry, especially among high school learners. So it's your responsibility to do that, because there's only so much that we can do. I thank you very much for listening to me, and I thank you especially for coming here today, because you could have chosen to go home and watch TV. There's so much happening on TV. But you chose to come here, and that in itself shows you are interested and you care about the future and the present, things that are happening in our country. So I'm looking forward to listening to interesting and vibrant discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, and just giving us perspective on why we are here and what KAS does for the good of the country and just in general. Right now, we will be having a poem from, I'm not particularly too sure on who will be reciting a poem.
Around like an enchanted soul, searching for directions we could not foresee. They told us each day we would see the future. We could not see it with our eyes wide open. They told us ngesixhosa bathi lo mzuzu ujonge phesha kwencibana amagumbi okucinga ngechiza lokugcina impilo engcono kodwa nachongiwe yamachiza siwacholile chitheka kuyachithakala luchukumisa uvuso lokuchulumana nokuchazana nokungcono baba sincomile mandiyeke man. Good day, guys.
They told us to vote. Vote will bring us the change. But every day we sit in our chairs and complain, nothing yet seems to change. What is it that we are voting for? But every day we are struggling. In Parliament they are playing, coming around chairs like children. What is this? A circus? Is this the freedom that we fought for? Is it? No. Well, you are about to find out. Okay, guys, we are the women. Never mind the name. We are. They call us poets, but we like to say to us that we are writers. We're going to do a short poem for you. Hope you love it. It's a bit of. Okay, let's just go.
Allow me to take this opportunity and introduce ourselves. My name is Matasa Zendile, aka Dr. Matt, because I'm a doctor by profession.
The name is Zendile Demigod Chefu.
Yeah. We are going to do it, these guys. It's called Forgive Us. It goes like little something like this.
Forgive us, Father, for we have sinned.
Hush, my child, don't you cry.
Forgive us, Father, for we have sinned.
Hush, my child, don't you cry.
Forgive her, Father, for she has sinned.
Hush, my child, don't you cry. Forgive her, Father, for she has sinned 6 sieges. She saw it all unrevealed in front of her eyes. So it erupted with non-fairy tale stories.
If she...
No, I had to tell you my story. You'd literally be blown into pieces. Pictures painting a powerful story, yet turning pages like he did with my panties.
Oops, my sister, you are not supposed to say
Then
that.
forgive me, Father, but please do not tell me you've forgotten about our little untold incident that left me feeling like an unwanted trash. You brought me cash to cover your conscience, only to discover the uncovered coincidence. These
are my father's coincidences.
Even this big belly couldn't contain and hide this big belly that you created with your balls. You still had to buy balls because he's a boy. Then forgive me, Father,
for I have sinned. Forgive us, Father, for we have sinned. Forgive her, Father, for she has sinned. It's been a while since my last confession. I'm making no excuses because there is no one to blame. There is no use in pointing fingers now. No see me stretch my neck to see on the other side. My eyes saw too much suffering. Windows to the soul never lie. My tongue speaks no lies. Cut it out if it does. The world is such in a state that we are fighting with ourselves, causing a royal rumble. Yet we still stand, hoping that there will be hope tomorrow. Still praying that God will come and save us. But I heard them say, God helps those who help themselves.
Then, if you find the cure to this disease, the world we live in is no more, then please forgive me,
us,
Father,
for we have sinned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, what a beautiful poem. Spoken word, it really spoke deeply. So much symbolism in that. And I mean, we can greatly appreciate it, and all the social ills that the poem brought out in consideration to the topic at hand. Ethical leadership. How can this be restored with integrity and honesty within the framework of our constitutional democracy? That is the question we have today. Looking at this topic, it seems like quite a mouthful. So, let me give you a little bit of perspective. What do you understand by ethical leadership? Ethical leadership, as American sociologist and civil activist Bill Donahue once said, a leadership strategy without ethical clarity produces moral and economic bankruptcy. Ethical leadership is defined as the process of influencing people to act on principles, values, and beliefs. It refers to 5 basic principles which were first espoused by the philosopher Aristotle: respect, service, justice, honesty, and building the community. The key to ethical leadership is to live according to these 5 values, to operate beyond your ego, to operate outside of yourself, to put others before you. Now, when we look at what ethical leadership means, at what ethical leadership is described as, we have to ask ourselves today, do we in South Africa at this present moment, does our leadership deserve to be called ethical? Do our leaders deserve to be called leaders? Because what is a leader? What do you understand by what is called a leader? A leader is someone who inspires change, who inspires someone to see better of themselves, who inspires someone to do good unto others. Do we still have leaders, or do we have people who are looking after their own self-interests? In 2016, our Chief Justice, Mogoeng, whilst delivering a lecture at the Gordon Institute of Business Science, once said, "Ethical leadership leaves no room for corruption. Ethical leadership leaves no room for manipulation of politicians by the corporate world." Now, if you examine these words closely, it gives you the perspective that the ideal of ethical leadership is not something that is solely placed on government. It is something that is placed on each and every single one of us. Now you ask yourself, what is it that I can do? What can I do to resemble ethical leadership? Ethical leadership is having the ability to do what is right, no matter what the cost. Even if it costs you your job, if something is not right, you say that something is not right. Now, we like to look at the past, in retrospect and say, where have we come from that we are here today? We look at the likes of Mandela, Desmond Tutu, and the vision that they espoused for South Africa. Can we truly say that we are in a state of ethical leadership? Characteristics of an ethical leader are defined as follows. A leader is someone, and a leader who acts ethically is someone who maintains concern for the greater good. Their community, their fellow man comes before them. They encourage and develop others. So an ethical leader seeks to make you better instead of them. They put you ahead of them. A leader shows courage. They have the courage to stand for what is right. As one famous quote goes that I'm sure many of us know, is that even if you are standing alone, if you are standing for what is right, stand strong. An ethical leader takes responsibility for their actions. How many times has it been easy for you as a person to say, because of the cost, I'm going to get a hiding from home or something. It is better for me to lie. That's not how an ethical leader behaves themselves. An ethical leader takes responsibility and says, as the old age saying going, take it like a man. Now, ethical leadership, how can this be restored with integrity and honesty? Now, you look at these 2 very important words, integrity. What does it mean for someone to have integrity? When you have integrity as a person, it means that nothing and no one can ever make you compromise your values for what is right. You will do whatever it takes to protect your name. That is what defines you as a person before you're defined as a leader. Honesty. What does honesty mean? It is not just saying that, no, I will tell the truth always and stuff. It means that as an ethical leader, you are able to say that a situation is not working. a situation is wrong, I am standing up today and I am saying enough is enough. The question that I posed to you today, how long are you going to sit behind your phone screen and text your friend and watch videos on YouTube while your country is going down in ruins? Now, we look at ethical leadership, and we look at it in the context of South Africa. I'm sure all of you know the Constitution, or well, know some parts of the Constitution, and the vision and the values that the Constitution hopes to have for us. Now, you look at the Constitution and you look at the leaders that we have today. Do we have leaders who obey the Constitution? And yet we're happy to sit down at home and say that I am looking after myself. For as long as I am happy, then so be it, you know. I just want to give even a bit more on what a leader is. A leader leads by example, and that means I tell you to do as I do, and not I tell you to do as I say. You don't become a hypocrite. You don't tolerate any form of bad things or wrong things or things that go against your morals as a person. Even if it's your friend, if your friend is wrong, it means that you as a person, you're able to get up and have the strength and courage to say that that person is wrong. Now, taking all of this into consideration, we realize that looking at ethical leadership is not just about the people in parliament. It's so easy for us to sit back and blame the government. It's the government's fault. That's why it's like this. It's the government's fault. But the question is, what are you doing as the youth of tomorrow? What are you doing? Because majority of the people who are leaders today are old people who may be dead in the next 10 years or something. You've still got 30 years of your life. What are you doing to make your country better? What are you doing to ensure that the values of ethical leadership are passed on from you to your community, to your family, to your friends? And as Ms. Nancy said, what are you doing to be a multiplier of ethical leadership? Now, looking at these, I want us to have a very fruitful session. And I mean, we need to interrogate ourselves, each and every single one of us. What does ethical leadership mean to me? What does ethical leadership mean to my classmate who's sitting next to me? What does ethical leadership mean when I look at my life in the next couple of years? What does ethical leadership mean when I'm at school? Do I need to be forced to do my homework? Or is it something that I take responsibility for? You see, in so many instances, we take words like ethical leadership and we think, no, but I mean, what is that? It can't be me. But it is the smallest and simplest of things. Are you taking responsibility over your studies, over your actions, over every decision that you decide to make, to wake up, to skip school, to drink alcohol? Are you taking responsibility for those decisions today? Are you what we call an ethical leadership? Because as there's a firm Xhosa saying that I'm just going to say it in English because my Xhosa is not particularly too good. There's a saying that says that you bend a branch while it's still young. What are you doing today to ensure that tomorrow you can stand and be called an ethical leader? That's what I want us to question right now. So how it's going to work, I would just like, everyone to maybe gather in groups of 10, discuss the topic. What is ethical leadership, and what does ethical leadership mean in our constitutional democracy? Because we have to own this democracy. 1994 was a step in the door to say, here you go. We're passing on the baton. What do you think? Take it forward. Take it forward. Make this what it is, what you want it to be. And the thing is, I'd really like us to really mix in our groups, have a little bit of, old people to, add a little bit there. But, I'd like the older people, and me included, just let's keep quiet and listen. We want to hear from you guys, We want to hear, what is an ethical leader? Are you an ethical leader? Are you taking ownership today and saying that from this day forward, I choose to be an ethical leader. I choose to take responsibility. I choose to take care of my fellow man. I choose to be concerned of my fellow man. So I think we can do that now, maybe for about 10 to 15 minutes, where we just sit in groups and organize.
No, I want to suggest let's just do 2 huge groups.
2 huge groups.
If we take 10, then it's going to be more than 1 group, and then the report makes going to take time, so to allow participants to contribute more in the plenary afterwards.
Okay. No, I think we can go with that as well. Maybe we can half one another. But I'd really encourage you to mix. Don't be with your friends. You already spend the whole day with your friends. Aren't you a bit tired of them? Get to know other people as well. And then after 10, 15 minutes, we can come back and then we get to hear your perspective, and then we try and be fruitful. Yeah, you can mix up. Yes. Run away from your friends. I'd like to hear everyone's perspective on what do you see as an ethical leader? What should be an ethical leader, and what is an ethical country? The country full of ethical people. Yeah. So let's chat.
I have a suggestion before we start. Can we all just introduce ourselves?
Oh yes. I think. Sorry.
What should we say?
Number. Yeah, you can start. It's up to you, but I would like to know a lot about you.
Yes. You guys regard yourselves as ethical. What does it mean?
Be happy you're sitting with all ones. Be happy.
And then you can just abandon the constitution, but let's talk individually. What do you understand as an ethical leader? And then in the context of the country, do we have ethical leaders? Is it ethical what they do?
Yeah.
I'm Claude, my surname is Mamas.
So those are the basic
I live in
questions.
PA,
The overarching
I have a personal things on my feet, and
And then you can have one or two
quite
people.
enthusiastic.
Nice thinkers. One.
Who's Wednesday?
Okay, it's 10 to 15 minutes, man. So let's discuss and then we'll come to the dinner.
I think God will guys.
Same time.
No, I'm sure.
Charlie, you can talk out loud. Look to the back. Look to the back. Ha.
An ethical leader puts his people first.
Yeah, that's a nice one. And
Yeah.
what's his nation? A team with the nation.
I insist. Peace.
Also say that an ethical leader must be trustworthy.
Assim,
So that people can rely on him and trust about what will happen next for the future.
Or someone else. So you put someone else before you put yourself. So now with the current situation in South Africa, we are saying, especially when it comes to government, they put themselves first. So it's them first, their family, and then others. So it's not ethical. Then also I find it a bit strange that we live in a society whereby we have adapted that to ourselves, because we find that we used to grow up in societies where when our parents tell us stories, they used to tell us that, you used to value your neighbor, you used to value another person, but right now you would just pass while someone is being robbed, you would pass by while someone needs your help. So we're no longer that ethical.
How much time do they have?
About 10, 15 minutes.
Now, 3:30.
Yeah.
So we can do this presentation.
Giving up.
The case is that when you look at someone, you look at qualities. You do not look at that person and follow what that person is doing, but you take what is mindful of that person. That's how we are raised, which means that that's our values. Now what we're doing is we're using that as an excuse. We are trashing our values because we believe that we're going to use our president or other leaders as an excuse for our behavior.
But I have your best interest at heart,
To me, an ethical leader has to be definitely someone who does set an example. I've always told myself, if I had to be the president, I would rather say, I don't want any salary. Rather take my salary and help the ones in need, definitely. That's
As a government, they are teaching us to be materialistic. And so we throw away what we think is important, like respect and that.
While they might feel their personal beliefs. I can say that you can't just post but yeah, and follow you. Because that's not education, that's just dictation, and that's not ethical leadership.
Humble but not humble but stern.
Humble but stern.
Sorry guys, I believe I have a suggestion.
Which group wants to present first? So no groups volunteering to go first. Okay, we're going to hear from group 1. Please just introduce yourself, to the house, because they might not know you. Thanks. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Claude Namase, and I'm at Utenek High School, and I represent Group 1. We have discussed a couple of points concerning the ethical leadership, and we've came with a couple of points actually. To us, ethical leader has to be a person who takes responsibilities, a person who sets an example, a person who is humble but not stern. They should accept everyone for who they are and their situations. A leader shouldn't be a person who is picky, who is not selfish, someone who has a vision for the country, moving it forward, someone who helps the country develop. There was a saying in our group that went as, the current leadership is the blind leading the blind. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, guys, please. I'm glad you guys. Thank you for your input. It's nice to see that you guys had some brilliant ideas. Any other group? Yeah, I think let's start with group 3 next because, yes, they were the last ones here, you know. Yeah, please, thank you. Please just also introduce yourself. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes, hi.
Hi everyone. Ik ga Afrikaans praten, maar ik ga mijn darings in Engels doen. Is het right? Ik is aan Moor, ik is van Makati Meerstromige School en ik vertegenwoordig groep 3. What entails an ethical leader? Everyone needs to be heard.
Lift your mic a bit up. Yeah.
Isn't it loud enough? What entails an ethical leader? Everyone needs to be heard. A leader deliberates. An ethical leader that can be able to differentiate between right and wrong and is able to make decisions based on that. A leader should make decisions based on facts and not opinions, but everyone's opinion counts. A leader should understand there are two dynamics in life, the right and reality. Example for global warming. People should reduce carbon emission, which is right, and the reality is that people need to go to work every day. A leader should know what his people need and basically put their needs first. Be the change you want to see, and that concludes our...
Thank you very much for that perspective. And yeah, none but group 1.
My test 1819. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Matt. I come from the fabulous group 1. Well, ours was very simple, guys. Ours was very simple. It was easy. We said a leader should always put others first before they put themselves. But at the present moment, with our current leadership, we would find that they put themselves first, their family, and then the rest. So with that, that is not ethical whatsoever. And then we also says they should practice equality. It means that they should not be judged. If you are a leader, you should not be judged whether your age, your gender, and everything else that entitles your equality. It means that if we need to have ethical leaders, we need to teach the young ones. There's a saying in Xhosa, they say, umthi ugotywa usemtsha. Yes. MC said that earlier, but he said it in English, so I'm saying it in Xhosa, umthi ugotywa uselula. And we also says, if you're a leader, you need to be honest. You need to be very honest and know what's best for people. Not what's best for you, but what's best for people. And then there was also some kind of a debate that we went on about that. What we practically do is we are using the term monkey see, monkey do. We are taking what is wrong from the leaders and not what is right. We're looking at the leaders and then we are copying what they are doing. So if a leader is corrupt, then you say, for an example, we made an example about education. We said our leaders are not that well educated, and then we tend to undermine education because we feel that even our leaders are not that well educated. So there's no need for education. We're just going to school whatsoever. And then we said, as a leader, you need to take a responsibility for your actions. And we even made an example of in a classroom. in a classroom, you'd find that if there's no teacher, then it's free period. It's free period, everyone, like we're enjoying it. Instead of taking responsibility by saying we need to educate, because the reason we're going to school is what? To educate ourselves. So if the teacher's not there, it is our own responsibility to make sure that we continue where the teachers left off. So that is all we came up with. And thank you very much. Malinga.
Thank you very much. Group 1 is rather fruitful, and they're very happy. I can see that. I don't know, perhaps ethical leaders are happy people. Yeah. Thank you very much for your inputs. One thing that was revealed here was that we all have the capacity to think. There's future leaders in all of you. In each and every single one of you, I see a leader, because even though it was hard speaking in front of a group of people you've probably never seen before, and it was uncomfortable, you said, I won't keep quiet. As hard as it may be, I won't keep quiet, even if, they keep looking at me with that eye of why am I quiet? So I'm going to speak eventually. So they stop looking at me. And just, as a older youth, if I can put it, it makes me happy to think that, you guys are thinking in a perspective that we didn't think when we were in high school many years ago. As I said, I'm an older youth. We didn't think like that. We didn't have these questions of where we're asking ourselves where we're going as a country and what we see. And just to do a quick summary.
I want to add, before you do the summary, we just had reports from the different groups by each and every one. Let's open it up at least for the next 10 minutes with each and every one in this broader group if they want to contribute or want to say something towards a particular topic that we have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bozak. Yes. Maybe if you've got extra input to add, you overcame your group, so I'm sure you're no more shy anymore. The room's a bit warm now, so yes, it's open to the floor. Let's hear. You might have been something might have came to you now. Yes.
It's just like our president, for example, he didn't do anything about monkey see, monkey do. Because Nelson Mandela did way better things than what he's doing now. So if he did monkey see, monkey do, then he would have also done the same things which he's doing now. So not all leaders are monkey see, monkey do. And you have the ability to change that. Yes.
All right. Oh, yes, I saw a hand here. Okay, yes.
I disagree with that, because what we were referring to as monkey see, monkey do, we're referring to our generation now. They had their chance and they messed it up. It is now our turn, and our generation is now making the same mistakes as the generation before.
Yeah, we can definitely see that it's heating up a bit. Yeah, no, sorry. Let's not have a dialogue. Let's try to control it. I'm sure we don't have two people in the room. Does anyone else have something to add? Maybe you have your own slogan.
I think also it's important that we look at leaders that is far away in government. In our own community, how do we see leaders there? I mean, I read every end of the year in the paper that a so-called pastor have run a raffle during the year, and end of the year the money is gone. So how do let's talk about that is what we talk about ethical leadership. You shouldn't say it's only in government that there's leaders. There's leaders within our communities. There's prefects within the school that are leaders. So we shouldn't see leadership as something that is very far apart. We are part as leaders sitting here. So how should we behave in terms of the challenges that is happening? So we should bring it much more closer to us as well.
We should take actions.
Yeah.
Yes, we. DJ's got an input. Yes.
Goeiemôre allemaal. Middag, sorry. Yeah, I'll be speaking Afrikaans, ne? I'm kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm just gonna talk about leadership ne, in a close form, yabo, close range, yabo, no sniping. If I'm gonna talk myself, I as a groundbreaker, ne, I am one of the leaders of the youth in and around Ukwanobuhle, yabo. So now I think that most importantly, leadership starts with me, more importantly as it starts with you, ne? You have a duty to lead yourself. Like when your day is starting, you have to lead yourself. Ne? That number one, I should be on time for school. Number two, I should study because next week exams is yakala. Number three, I should be honest towards EPS exam and not have a paper when I'm writing. I'm like, you see? So I think most importantly, leadership starts with you. So now when you're going outside, if you were non-ethical to yourself, if you were robbing yourself, when you're going outside and leading a bigger group, other people besides yourself, now you're going to be robbing those people, you see? You're going to be doing it a fool now and say, the church, please like. If you don't like Jesus, like. If you like, then you are, So I think most importantly, you should start being a leader to yourself. Lead from where you're standing before. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that input. You know, in politics, we have a saying that says, how do you expect to lead others if you can't lead yourself? Yes.
Building on what he said, of course you have to have your own beliefs, your own morals, but an unethical leader would impose his morals and beliefs onto other people, and that is not what should happen. We should allow our people to think for themselves, bring forth their own morals, their own beliefs, their own opinions. And as an ethical leader, you would listen to their opinions and choose what is best from there. Not just think, okay, no, I'm the leader, what I say goes. So you have to listen to what the other people say, not just what you have to do yourself.
I don't know, maybe if I can challenge you on that, and I mean, it's open to the rest of the house as well. How do you find the balance between saying, this is ethical, this is not ethical? How do you find a balance as a leader? You know?
It all has to start with you. If you have certain values and morals and you build on them, obviously they are good because they are your morals and values. And then if you build on them, you can influence other people and inspire other people to take on your good morals and values. So,
Thank you so much.
You said that, how do you know the difference between ethical and unethical? That wonderful guy over there actually told us that ethics is basically just knowing the right from wrong. And as we grow up, our parents teach us, okay, this is right, this is wrong. So I think that our belief of ethic and unethicalism stems from that. We are taught to think that way. So yeah.
Thank you. I saw a hand somewhere there. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, I just wanted to add on what So said a while ago. It seems like the people want to be leaders in order to have power. And then once they become leaders, they must use their power. That's all I wanted.
No, yeah, that's their hand somewhere. Oh, okay.
Also, I touch on what is ethical and what is not ethical, because also, like she said, you can't just say, I'm the leader, what I say goes. You have to listen to other people, because from your perspective, you might be right and the other person's wrong, but from their perspective, you're wrong and they're right. So it's all about communication and working together, finding that balance, not just for yourself, but with other people, because what you think is right might not be the right thing for the person next to you.
All right. If no one else has got something to add,
I just wanted to add one more thing. I think all of this goes with accountability, because let's make an example about what you just said now, that maybe you take a decision that you thought was right, and then only to find out it was not right. Then you need to account for that and take responsibility in saying that, yes, I took this decision, but it was wrong. Then you are accounting for that, saying, I'll make it up for the mistake that I've made. So it also goes hand in hand with the accountability as a leader.
Thank you.
Just the last one, I just want to ask and like to have this view, and especially people shouldn't be shy to speak, really. But I want to know unethical behavior within South Africa in our society. Did it become a culture? What are your views on it? Did it become a culture within our society to be unethical? Because if you are involved in corruption, it's unethical behavior. If you do something wrong in terms of our society sees you, it is unethical. Did it become a culture within us?
I saw two hands there. Yes, as we. I like this. Yes.
Just to add on, I believe when we talk ethics, there are different sides to ethics. There are ethics that belong to a certain group, and there are general ethics that belong to society. Society has its own ethics that are not written anywhere. When you do certain things, no, this is wrong. According to who? According to society. But it is not written anyway. But there are ethics, for instance, when you talk about journalism. Journalists have their code of ethics that they need to abide by. But when you're a general citizen in a public space, there are no written ethics that say this is what you need to do, this is what you need not to do. So I think us as young people, we need spaces like this to discuss these ideas, to talk more on these issues, so that we get a better understanding of what young people need. Because truth be told, all people are going to die. And sorry to say that.
No, please be honest.
So I think understanding what ethics are first, it is going to be a stepping stone towards living a positive lifestyle, and making sure that we don't. Because there were comments that were made by other groups that I believe sometimes when you talk about ethics, it goes back to education. If you're going to talk about ethics and then you listen to someone speaking and automatically grab that thing, because I have a lot of things to say and my mind is not getting things separately. I'm going to refer to that group quickly. They mentioned something about the current leadership of the country. I don't want to go through this room. But they mentioned something about the current leadership of this country, that they're doing all of these bad things and so on and so on and so on. And I believe when you talk about ethics, it goes to self-belief, like the first group has mentioned. If you know your ethics, if you know what's right and you know what's wrong, you should understand that following one source of information, surely there is another side of the story. Because, for example, there was, on what they said about current leadership being bad and stuff. I'm not debunking what you said, guys. I'm just trying to get an understanding. A few months back, there were stats that were released, but the media did not say anything about them. Our GDP increased, the rand was stronger, it was about 10 rands to a dollar. But we didn't hear any of those things within the media. But immediately when the current leadership does something that is not perceived positive, even if positive things are not said in the media, but we all flock in there, no, they're doing this, they must go out and they must do this. Yes. I'm not affiliated to any political party, but it is something that I've noticed. It's a trend that when we receive information that we did not have, we tend to take that information and root ourselves in it without understanding the entire cycle of where the information comes from and how to digest that information with a grain of salt. I'll just end there for now.
Thank you very much. What was that last hand? The grain of salt. If there's one thing you must remember, that the grain of salt. Guys, thank you very much. I believe that.
Can I just say something? Concluding.
Okay, 30 seconds. Go.
So guys, we're talking here, we're speaking, we're giving out our opinions and everything, but are we taking action? And that's how we're gonna end it now. Are we taking action?
I take that conclusion for
15 seconds.
No, then you have to allow guys. Thank you very much. We appreciate your opinion. We appreciate your input on this. And yes, she's very right. It's pointless sitting in we call them talk shops. It's pointless sitting here and saying, yes, we need to do this, but we need to take action. And I believe, though, not to debunk or anything, that these sessions are very important, because there's a lot of you that didn't know other things that you learned from others, and that's the important thing, because it was even mentioned, communication. We need to start talking to each other and not about each other. Yes, we need to start talking to one another and hearing what someone has to say. Because I'm sure when some of you walked in and you looked at some people that you didn't know, you're like, hey, I wonder what they're going to say. These people, am I wrong? Am I going to say something dumb or something like that? But now you've made friends, And as my brother said there quite nicely, as a youth, we need to start questioning things. Don't take the first thing that you are given. Always question something, because as a writer myself, I believe that when someone writes something, they're selling you their idea of what they think. So you need to read from different sources and come up with a conclusion, because we want leaders that are thinking. We want leaders that are going to think of solutions to move this country forward. I'm sure you guys are tired of seeing people dying because of alcohol, because of drugs, because of poverty, because there are just no jobs. The economy is not moving. We need to get our people out of that. We have seen our parents, our older brothers living in this strife. That's not something that we want for our children. Again, we learned leaders are very responsible. They hear one another. They communicate. As a leader, you start at home. The age-old saying, charity begins at home. You start at home and you do the little bit that you can. And the sum of our efforts, each and every single one of us did something within our circle of friends, with our family members. Imagine the change that we could have. Just imagine. And we also said that, leaders, they teach others, they impart knowledge and they set examples out of this. Guys, I would like to invite my colleague Konrad to just do a vote of thanks and closure. Thank you very much, guys. We truly appreciate it. I'm more the wiser coming here. Thank you. Guys, please give yourself a very big
All right. Thank you very much, colleagues. I won't be taking much of your time. But I think first of all, you would agree with me that this has been a very exciting session. And without the guy who was holding the fort, I think he made it to be a success and to be a very vibrant session. So can we give him a round of applause? Thank you very much, Baba, for conducting the session here to very ethically. So we can see that you are indeed an ethical facilitator. Thank you very much. And there's someone that when we do these events, conferences, colloquium, we tend to forget. But he's the man who's keeping our archives. Umako, our photographer. Yes, Umako has become our friend. Every time we have an event at the university, he's the man behind the camera. I don't say Unensi now. Oh, there we go. Unensi is our partner from Joburg. Yes, we can have ideas, we can plan, but without money, I mean, all that goes into waste. So here's the lady who makes sure that when we gather in sessions of this nature, she pumps money. So for that, can we give her a round of applause? I would like also to acknowledge all of life. Where's Nwabisa? Yes, Nwabisa to a great groundbreaker from Love Life. As well as the team indeed from Love Life, all the groundbreakers of Love Life and the PGs, you guys are always amazing. Thank you very much. Now, greetings to kumyalezo ku-DK na ku-Janice ba noko umcimbi wami kahle kakhulu. To our poets, uMatase, nawe Nkosi yami, we really appreciate and please do nurture that talent. All right, and then the most amazing people in the house. Can we give hands, great hands, for Makati High School? We must understand there's a closer way of saying, so there are different ways of saying that. But all right, thanks very much to Makati. Also, E-Unique High School. Yes, you guys rock. Imoli Black Band. Thank you very much. Do we have Tinaka High School? Thank you. All right, thank you very much, colleagues. And also, I would like to acknowledge the teachers that are accompanying the learners. We really appreciate, you know, sometimes when we invite schools, the schools and the authorities would automatically just send learners, you know. But when we see teachers among the students who are participating in programs of this nature, it really humbles us. So, siyabulela kakhulu mefro, and also to Otishara Panda Pandi, siyabulela kakhulu. To my team from the university, Menier Bursak, as well as Usigelela, I would like to also acknowledge your contribution and your efforts, Baba siyabulela kakhulu. When we got here, this place was spotless as well as the DIEX. So to them as well, we're keeping these facilities absolutely spotless. All right, thank you very much. I've been noticing how you are uploading and the noise of, you know, of uploading it goes here and here and here. And there's one person that I want you guys to also acknowledge. Myself. Alright, okay, no. Thank you very much, thank you very much. And you know, these are the moments I miss the most. To share a little story that I was once part of this center before I moved to the university. This is a vibrancy that I always miss. You know, when I'm frustrated in the university, like, you know, I just miss Love Life. I miss these occasions, you know, the laughter, the smiles, the youthfulness, you know, the vibrancy, and the agency, you know, within young people. This is what I miss the most. So, just one request. can we kindly have a group photo when we are done here? Outside there are stairs there, fortunately. So for those who are not blessed with height, they can stand in the front, and then the second row, and then the third one. Just for 2 minutes, quickly 2 minutes, guys, and then we'll come back, we'll grab some bags, and then there's some refreshments prepared for you. Otherwise, on behalf of the